Still Here, a heartbreaking ghost story of love, loss, and loneliness, presented by Absolutely Haunted in America. Hello, welcome, enjoy the video.
We're still here. The house still stands on its sagging foundations. The old black cat still hunts for rodents. And then there's me. I'm still here too, and my heart is still broken. I don't know why I keep looking. Maybe I think something will change, that I can get a second chance. Perhaps some part of me still believes time moves forward when you're dead. But it doesn't. Not really. Time just curls around you. It tightens. The passage of time when you're dead presses against your being like a too small coffin. I don't know why I keep coming back to that damn laundry room. Every time I drift near it, the rot has spread a little further. The plaster above me crumbles like ash. The air is too thick, stale, and dry, like old parchment paper. And the whisper of what should have been said lingers. The people I should have reached out to, the forgiveness I should have asked for, or that I should have given. Now it is too late for any of that. Maybe that's all we do, the ones who stay behind. Perhaps that's what it means to be a ghost. Revisiting the moments, wishing you would have fixed things, you would have repaired the broken. Instead, we stand witnessing the moment where everything stopped, where we lost our last chance to connect, over and over and over again, as if our grief were a record skipping forever on the turntable of death. I guess we witnessed the lost opportunity on repeat. I don't know if it is meant to be a punishment, but it is. I hovered before the fireplace. The mirror above it wavered in the low light, catching something that shouldn't be there. My reflection, or at least what was left of it, rippled like oil on water. No face, no form. Just a dull smear shifting when I moved, like a shadow underwater or heat in the desert. No one would recognize me in it. Hell, I didn't recognize myself. My heart shattered into a million pieces when I realized it was over. When I realized it was too late, I had wasted it all. I remember crying when it first happened. Not the kind of crying that comes in sobs, but the silent kind. The kind where grief grabs you by the throat and doesn't let go. I'd sink into the kitchen chair, day after day, staring at my corpse, sprawled awkwardly across the cold tile of the laundry room. My foot still tangled in the window cord, my sneaker half off, the iron dog doorstop lying just inches from my skull, cute, heavy, lethal. The blood had long dried. It had turned from crimson to rust, from puddle to flakes. I should have moved that damn thing, but how was I supposed to know it would be the last thing I'd ever see? It's quiet here, too quiet. A country house, isolated and ancient, the kind of place people fantasize about when they've had too much city noise in their lives, too many heartaches. That was me in 2018, full of plans, looking for a place to hide, just for a little while. Fix it up, flip it, use it as an escape, start over. I never expected the escape to be permanent or that I would be here forever. I think back and smile. There had been whispers when I bought the place. Locals muttered that it was haunted. At the time, I laughed. Ghosts weren't real. How was I to know the old house would teach me different? Every old house in the country is haunted, isn't it? I had thought that once, but I hadn't seen any ghosts. Not then, but now. Now I see the old black cat, my constant companion. But there is no other human ghost. Not here, not now, probably never was. There is now. I am sorry that it was me who made the whispers of hauntings true. I am the ghost. Well, me and the cat. We haunt this place together. Will it be forever? I don't know. But I find it amusing that my companion for the afterlife is an animal, as I didn't have pets in my life, never had the time or the patience, the hair on the furniture, the constant feeding, and the unpleasant smells. But once I moved into the farm, before I died, strange things started happening, which had me wondering if I had an invisible friend. I'd make my bed, walk away, and when I came back, there it was. A perfect circle, like something small and heavy, had curled right into the blankets. I thought I was imagining it, but on my second night as a specter, if you can call these jumbled moments nights anymore, I had wandered, as I always did, into the laundry room to sit alone and cry, sitting with my body the way you might sit beside a gravestone, only colder, way grosser, and more real. I was working up a complete wail and sorrow session when, mid-sob, a streak of darkness darted past me, fast and silent. It broke my concentration. 4 legs, a tail, green eyes glowing faintly in the gloom, sleek black fur, a little more see-through than normal, but then again, so was I. The black cat staring at me, obviously a ghost too. Within seconds, he padded right over, brushed his insubstantial face against my chest, and curled up in my lap like I still had a heartbeat to soothe him. I lifted him into the light. He purred. I could see through him for real. It was not a trick of the light, and yet he felt warm, real, present, a strange comfort I hadn't known I needed. "Where did you come from?" I whispered. I thought someone was messing my bed up all those mornings I made it. Guess that was you. The only answer was a soft, rumbling purr and a single, slow blink. I named him Phantom. Why not? He was a ghost after all. He became my only company, and he was good company. Who knew it would take me kicking the bucket to come to love a pet? The house, sealed tight for winter, didn't attract flies. But the rats? Oh, the rats came, drawn by the scent of me, festering behind closed doors. But Phantom, he played with them, killed them. Even in death, his instincts hadn't dulled. No one tells you what happens to the dead left too long, what gnaws, what feasts. But Phantom made sure they didn't get the chance. He'd stroll into the kitchen, tail twitching, eyes alert, and if there was no game for him that day, he'd cast me a look of disappointment, so deep it made me laugh. "You shouldn't have been so good at your job," I told him once. Still, thank you. I didn't want to be carried away in pieces. We passed the days together like 2 forgotten relics. I had my first pet and was suddenly aware of why people love their animals so much. I was not sure what I would have done without him there to keep me company. I taught myself to work the TV remote. It took weeks, but I figured it out. We'd sprawl on the bed and watch reruns of shows about spirits crossing over. The irony wasn't lost on me. And then, one day, her voice came crackling through the answering machine. Maisie, my baby sister, her voice, laced with fear and frantic, calling out into a void I could no longer answer. "Audra, please, I'm freaking out. I know things have not been so good between us lately, but I need to know you're okay. Audra, we need to fix this. Call me back." I stood beside the machine, hands trembling. I wanted to scream into the receiver to let her know I was here, that I was listening. But my voice didn't carry anymore, not to the living. I felt the grief well up inside me as I thought about the last argument we had. We could never fix it. It was too late. Eventually, the calls stopped for a few days. The last call filled me with sorrow as Maisie left the message I'd been dreading. "I'm coming. I'm flying out. I need to know you're okay. Mom and Dad want me to come. They know you're upset, but you can't just cut us off. When I get there, we are going to work this out. You're my sister, and I love you. Maisie, no, you shouldn't see me like this. I couldn't let her see the laundry room. She doesn't need to carry that vision with her forever. I would have to find a way to stop her. The morning she arrived, I felt it. I could feel her as soon as she drove up on the property. There was a shift in the air. I could feel her fear and worry, and it ripped my heart out. The vibration of wheels on gravel. I flew to the upstairs window just in time to see her step out of the rental car, eyes wide with horror at the dust-covered husk of my sedan, unmoved for months. Her hand flew to her mouth. The realization was instant. She knew. I screamed into the silence, "Call the cops, don't come in," and God help me. She heard something. She turned startled, as though my voice had traveled on the wind. She looked right at the house, her eyes seeking out the very window I stood gazing out of. Then, like a miracle, she did what I prayed she would. She picked up her cell, dialed just 3 numbers, and called for help. The police came first. They saw me on the floor through the laundry room window, and they busted through the door like a SWAT team. Then they called for the coroner. Then the detectives, with grave faces and latex gloves, came. They carried my remains out like some forgotten thing, covered in sheets and hidden from the world. But I could deal with that. What broke me, what truly shattered whatever piece of soul I had left, was Maisie. The moment they told her, she crumpled like cloth, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe, hyperventilating, her body folded onto the gravel as if the earth itself had taken her to her knees with a massive earthquake. She passed out as people rushed to revive her. I wailed behind the bedroom window, banging at the glass, yet making no sound any living person could hear. Watching from a distance, a soundless cry stuck in my throat. My grief, a hollow thing that echoed only within me. Pain in life is temporary. Pain in death is a shackle. Pain, you could not spare a loved one. Forever, tragic. I didn't weep for myself. I wept for the sorrow my absence would cause. She would have to tell our parents. Weeks passed. My parents came. They cried. They packed. Sometimes they laughed when they found old mementos, memories of who I had been. That laughter, sharp and fragile, became a lifeline. Proof that I hadn't disappeared completely. Proof that I never would as long as they lived. Phantom perched beside me on the kitchen beam, eyes half-lidded as I ran ghostly fingers through the air where his ears once twitched. He purred. My mother glanced up once, puzzled, and asked Maisie, "Did Audra ever have a cat?" Maisie shook her head. "Not that I know of." I smiled. "Shame on you, Phantom. Mom heard you," I whispered as he gave me a smug look. That's when I heard them talking about the house, my tomb for so long. A couple was coming to look at it, interested buyers, paranormal enthusiasts. My tragic death had made the place sellable, desirable. That's kind of weird. They're turning it into a bed and breakfast, Maisie said softly. A haunted one. My mom shuddered. I don't know how I feel about that. I did. I was conflicted, of course. This was my home now, such as it was, but I didn't want them to hold on to it just for me. I wasn't going anywhere. I knew they had no choice but to sell it. Phantom turned to me with those glowing green eyes and meowed low. "Well, buddy," I murmured, "want to haunt a bed and breakfast?" He purred his approval and leapt onto my shoulder. Down below, my mother suddenly stopped folding linens. She glanced at the ceiling, puzzled. I think we should look for a cat before we leave. Maisie blinked. You think she really did have one? Maisie looked around. She wasn't big on pets, Mom. I smiled as I ran my hand over Phantom's ears. I don't know, Mom whispered, but I just have this feeling. I feel like the cat is here somewhere. I keep hearing one. I was shocked when for just a brief moment, Mom turned and looked directly at me, sitting perched upon the kitchen beams. She narrowed her eyes for just a moment before turning back to my sister. Somehow, I feel like we're not the only ones saying goodbye. Mom was right. They weren't the only ones.
We appreciate you, our viewers, so much. Please like, drop a comment, and subscribe to us so we can continue to grow the channel. Thanks for watching.